And we're back once again, only on its last call. Last call with the alcohol, only on the Last Call YouTube channel. Now, joining me here on the line, this man will be, fighting, this time taking on Dominic Clark in a 155-pound match. This will be his second opponent on this card, but, he's still primed and locked for the same result, get the win, and move up the ladder. I give you, the trainer, fighter, and, it runs in the family. I give you Lance Gibson Jr.
Yeah,
So Lance, you've gone from it was supposed to be you, Chris Avila. Instead, now he doing the
yeah.
whole celebrity YouTube fights, boxing. You're now taking on Dominic Clark. How much does that change, if all, in terms of your preparation?
Preparation hasn't really changed at all. More so, my mental preparation, I would say, because obviously had to prepare for Avila and his some of the stuff that he does in the fight, to not be bothered by that. But as for like technical preparation and skill set preparation, everything's all the same. I just go in there and be me and execute my game plan.
Does it make it easier that you're used to this, not in terms of not just your own fights and your own amateur background, but you've been on the other side where you'd be training, your mom, and all of a sudden, oh, it's a different opponent. You got to now adjust. So does that help, having been on both sides of it, where you've had to get used to as a fighter and also used to as a trainer?
Yeah, absolutely. You just got to switch. You just got to switch gears and get back ready to go because the job doesn't change. Just technically who the opponent is. So your job that needs to be done is still to go in there and dominate. So it's pretty simple at the end of the day now.
Take me to Clark. Like, you said that he's a bit similar but different with Chris Avila. Like, in terms of their similarities, like, what do they have that you looked and went, okay, yeah, Chris is gone, but Dominic's the same kind of fighter this way or that way.
Not as skilled on the ground. He's obviously a good fighter. He has decent wrestling. Uh, Chris was more of a jiu-jitsu specific. Obviously, he was a black belt. He had better, I would say, better ground. But similar fighting style. I think kind of the posture. A lot of the stuff is similar, so it's all going to tie into my game really well. So at the end of the day, I'll just be able to go in there and impose my will.
I hate to use the word easier, but is it more, I guess, advantageous that you're going to a guy, as you said, with Avila, it's okay. If I take him to the ground, I got to worry about he'll throw he might throw a triangle choke, or,
Mm-hmm.
Kimura, or he might do something where he's setting you up for something. You got to be aware of that. Whereas with Clark, he doesn't bring that aspect. So is it easier for you game planning in terms of, all right, it's one less thing I have to worry about. It's one less thing I'm not have to worry about in terms of, am I getting myself in, this position, that position? Is he trying to lead me to someplace I don't want to go?
Yeah, I mean, to the extent of like, I don't want to. I never will underestimate anybody because hey, white belt could throw a triangle on somebody that's really skilled too if they're sleeping. So I'll never get caught slipping. I expect that this guy he has some ground, obviously ground experience and some skills on the ground as well. But yeah, I'm prepared for anything at the end of the day, and I'm ready to go for anything. So wherever the fight goes, I got skills that will outmatch anybody.
We're gonna get back to this in a bit, but first, take me to your last fight. It was April. This past April. You, Naoya
Yep.
Dung. It was Bellator 279. What went right? What didn't? Did anything go wrong? And how nice was it getting a win over a guy who he had a lot of hype? A lot of people were talking him up. He was a dynamic striker, and from my aspect, you took him out of a game and took him out of basically his comfort zone very quickly.
Yeah. So well, the fight didn't go obviously 100% as planned as I exactly wanted to as a fighter, but as a mixed martial artist in their journey, it kind of went perfectly because at the end of the day, being able to bounce back from adversity and to go in and dominate a fight, that's generally people face adversity in the fight and usually lose. So for me to be able to bounce back and to completely dominate the fight, get 2 30-25s and a 30-26, that's exactly what you want. I was able to just impose my will on him at the end of the day. We were striking on our feet from the beginning. He is a great striker. You can't deny that. Guy's been kickboxing for a long time. He fought Chris Lee, who's the ONE FC champion, and beat him in kickboxing. He's a good striker, but this isn't boxing or kickboxing. This is mixed martial arts. So I took him where he couldn't fight anymore and imposed my will on him.
Last couple of wins has been, almost graduation. Like Marcus Servin, okay, he was pretty well rounded. Raymond Pina had more, let's say, experience. Dung was more of dynamic striker. How do you feel that you're progressing in terms of becoming that complete mixed martial arts fighter? Where if you want to take it to the ground, you can take it to the ground. If you want to, strike and strike. Either way, you feel comfortable no matter what you can do or what you can't.
Yeah, I'm just like getting my legs warmed up in there. I've been showing different facets of my game, different aspects of my game in my last couple fights, where I can strike, I can wrestle, I can fight in the clinch, I can be on the ground, I can do everything. And I think I have the skills, and I'm just gaining more and more experience to tie in with my skills so that there is not even the slightest bit of hesitation when I go in there. It's going to be almost like poetry the way I dominate my opponents now. It's going to be like complete flow to where they fall into my trap that I didn't even need to set. They fell right into it.
Earlier, you talked about, never underestimating your opponent. We mentioned, all the key things here. How much does that help, the coaching side where you've seen all that, what the coaches see and that you get it. And for you, you appreciate, okay, when they're telling me something here, I know what they're looking for. I know exactly what they're seeing. Does that help with you in your fights and your training, being on both sides, being the outsider going, okay, this is what I see to your fight, your charge, your fighter, and vice versa.
Absolutely, because I've seen it in the fight game since I was a kid. Even like I was watching our fighters in our gym kind of go through the loop in MMA fights, and some guys would get a little arrogant after they got some wins on them, especially when they were undefeated, and think that they were untouchable in some areas. And some guy from a First Nations reservation comes out and clips them hard with a hard punch, knocks them out. So it can happen.
I'm going to segue here a bit because you've heard the same questions about fighting, all this. I want to know about fishing because I'm looking here at, of course, at the Instagram, and you do deep sea, deep sea, fishing here. So how the hell did you get involved in that? And how frustrating is that sometimes when you're fighting with a fish that's 200 pounds and it's like, okay, just come in, and it's almost like literally dragging an elephant out of the ocean into your boat, and that thing will fight for
Yeah,
hours at a time.
yeah. It's so my grandpa started me fishing when I was like 4 years old. Then kind of obviously throughout my life, I kind of got away from it, and then I kind of got back into it in my mid teenage years. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite things to do, but it is frustrating and challenging because some days the fish aren't biting, and some days you get one solid bite and you end up losing the fish. Or like the other day, I think it was a couple days ago, we were out there and we landed two really nice fish, but it was a slow day for everybody, and we hooked probably 4 30+ pound Chinook salmon, and they fight really hard, and all of them got off. So it was that's a bit frustrating, especially when you see the fish at the back of the boat and you're just about to net it. So yeah, it's fun, but it's challenging at the same time.
So I guess what is it about this that you find fun? Because to me, it looks like just a ton of work. You're battling for this fish, you know. The hands sometimes will get blistered. You're trying. You're putting a hook into the fish, taking a hook out. Like, what do you love about this about fishing?
uh, you know, I love being able to the science kind of behind it. You're constantly rotating your lures to try to find the right attractant that will make the fish bite. And some days you're finding new spots. Some days you're noticing different nooks along the ocean floor that they like to hide in. And yeah, just how you could be, it could be, you think that nothing's going to happen, and then all of a sudden, boom, the rods are just going off, as well as being able to cut, clean, harvest the fish, and enjoy it with my family after. That's one of the best parts about it. And then obviously, like, my little nephews all eat and love salmon since they're young, since they were able to eat solid food. So being able to provide them with food is pretty cool too.
So before I let you go, where do you want to fish that you haven't gone? I mean, because I'm guessing, you're in California, so I'm guessing you definitely want, when you have some time afterwards, take, you and the family go out, to the bay, try to catch maybe some deep sea fish out there in the West Coast. Like, if you can, and you'd like to travel, so where do you want to fish? Give
Yeah.
me that one place you haven't fished yet that you're going, I want to go this place. I want to fish this place. This is my ultimate fishing destination.
Okay, so there's a lodge it's called Zancudo Lodge. I think it's in Costa Rica. There's also another lodge that I'd like to go to in Panama, where it's incredible. The fishing's just insane, and it's super deep sea, blue water, and the fish they're just so plentiful, and it's just an awesome experience. So that'll definitely be on my bucket list for fishing one day. Those two lodges.
Well, as you said, before you can do that, you got once again you got to take care of business. It'll be once again all the way
Yeah.
on Long Beach Bellator 286, and it's ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're proud to have on the show. I give you it's Lance Gibson Jr. Lance, before I let you go, so where can fans check you out at? Where is the Twitter page, Instagram, the website, and also, very importantly, who are the sponsors for this fight coming up?
You can find me at Lance Fearless Jr. on Instagram and Twitter, as well as all my sponsors. I'm thankful to have so many sponsors. Cruise Combat, those guys are amazing for my shorts. Apollo Sheet Metal, amazing for everything, all my support through all my financial needs throughout the camp. Nucor, as well as Division 16, those guys are both amazing. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, so far it's been amazing. I'm so thankful, and I'm ready to go on October 1st.
And before I forget, we got to drop this off also. If people want, people out in let's say the Western California, Western Canada area want to train with you,
Yeah.
where's the gym? Where can they go to, as I guess, train with yourself and the rest of the Gibson crew?
So we're in Vancouver, well, just outside of Vancouver, British Columbia. It's only like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive from Seattle. So yeah, or a flight. Obviously, it's a quick flight from Seattle. But yeah, in Port Moody at Gibson MMA. That's where we have a tight knit group there. Some great fighters, some great martial artists all there. So that's where we're all centered and located.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's Lance Gibson Jr. He'll be fighting once again only October 1st on Showtime. It is going to be all the way in Long Beach, Bellator 286. Check your time local listeners for details. We come back. Stay tuned for more great action coming up only on Last Call. Last Call with the Alcohol, only on the Last Call YouTube channel.